Let's start coding out our mean, median, mode algorithm by defining our main function. We will say function mean, median, mode takes in an array. Now let's define our other three functions. We will say function getMean takes in an array. Function getMedian takes in an array. And function getMode takes in an array. Now, up here in our mean, median, mode function, we simply want to return an object that has the mean, median, and mode on it. So we will say return an object where the property mean equals the value of our getMean function with the array passed into it. Median equals the value of our getMedian function with the array passed into it. And mode equals the value of our getMode function with the array passed into it. Great, and that is our mean, median, mode function. Easy as that. Now we have to build out the functionality for our other three functions. Let's start with our getMean function. Inside of our getMean function, we will start by declaring a variable called sum and setting it equal to 0. We now want to loop through every number in our array and add it to the sum. So we will say array.forEach num, and inside of our loop, we simply want to add the number to the sum by saying sum plus equals the number. Great. Now, once this for each loop has completed, our sum will be equal to the sum of all the numbers in our array. Now, to get the mean, we want to divide the sum by the number of elements in the array. So we will say variable mean equals our sum divided by array.length. And finally, we want to return the mean. And that is it. That is our getMean function. Not too bad, right? Let's move on to our getMedian function now. From our getMedian function, we want to get the middle element of our array after it has been sorted. So the first thing that we need to do is sort our array. So we will write array.sort and pass in a function that takes in two parameters, a and b, and returns a minus b. This sort method is simply a built-in JavaScript method that takes in as a parameter some sort of function. In our case, we passed in this function, which sorts numbers in ascending order, but you could also pass in any number of different methods, such as one that sorts in descending order, or one that sorts alphabetically, etc. Great. So we now have our sorted array. We now want to define our median variable out here. And we are not yet going to set it equal to anything. We will do that in just a moment. Now, there are basically two cases that we have to deal with. The case in which there are an odd number of elements in our array, in which case we can simply take the middle element, and we know that that is our median. And then there's the second case in which there are an even number of elements in the array, and in this case we have to grab the middle two elements and get the average of those two elements, and that will be our median. Let's start with the case in which there are an odd number of elements in our array. We will say if array.length modulus 2 does not equal 0, which means the length of our array is not an even number, then we want to simply grab the middle element and set it as our median. So we will say the median equals our array at position array.length divided by 2. All of this is going to be wrapped in a math.floor to round it down. This part gives us the index of the middle element, and this whole part, naturally, is the element at the middle index. Now let's deal with the situation in which our array has an even number of elements. So we will say else, and in here we need to grab the two middle elements of the array. So we will say variable mid1 equals our array at position array.length divided by 2 minus 1. And variable mid2 equals our array at position array.length divided by 2. Now we have access to both of our middle elements. Next, we want to set our median equal to the average of these two elements. So we will say median equals, in parentheses, mid1 plus mid2 divided by 2. And finally, we have to return our median. Great, that is our getMedian function. Let's code out our final function for this algorithm, getMode, in the next video. See you there.